We're back. We're waiting for
Yay.
Dave to come back. Yay, we're all back. Not all of us. We're waiting on Dave. Anybody wondering what happened? It was Abby, our doctor, kept trying to call us, and I was trying to shut him up, and I ended up closing down the Hangout. They should really have like a, are you sure you want to close this before you close it? That would have made things better for me. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Brad needs a nap.
I think we all do.
I need more than a nap. So we're still trying to get Dave back on board. I'm going to try this other method here, and I'm sorry. This is the last thing anybody wants to hear is me pecking away on the keyboard.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, we did end up talking about the Samsung clone of the BlackBerry Hub, in which they're calling Samsung Focus, which is very similar or almost a clone of the BlackBerry Hub, where they're going to use it to pull in notifications, phone calls, text messages, email, social media notifications, and all that sort of thing. So I think they've obviously realised how popular the Hub was with BlackBerry 10 users, and it's something that they're looking at implementing in their the new Galaxy Note 6.
Yeah, this is, I find this funny because it's something that Android users kind of downplayed the usage of the Hub. They said it was pointless. They said that they had the same thing in their notification center. And now that the Priv has the Hub, and we've got people actually, we've got reviewers and journalists trying the Priv and using the Hub, and that's been a huge positive. They never really thought much of it on BlackBerry 10, which, I mean, in all honesty, the Hub on BlackBerry 10 is better than the Hub on the Priv at this point, even though we're seeing some really good improvements on the Hub and the Priv. So we will get there eventually. But I just find it funny that, they wanted nothing to do with it, but now that it's on Android, it's great. And now that it's on Android, Samsung's copying it.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just looking at a website, Tech Times, that had a little bit of a write-up on it, and it's basically saying that the UI is designed from, unlike normal Samsung apps, the UI is quite clean and smooth, and they've used some of the Google design features in it. Just trying to find some other points here on it.
Yeah.
It actually states Samsung Focus has a clean and modern interface, unlike any previous Samsung app. The company used Google's material design when crafting the UI, and that might have a lot to do with the praise. So yeah, it basically seems like an exact clone of the Hub. Not a hell of a lot on it at the moment.
No, there's not. I'm sure there will be once it's out, because it's going to be on the Note 6, I believe, is what they're going to introduce it on. And I'm sure that once that comes out, it's going to be seen as, the second coming, the most amazing thing ever. But we've had it for the last 3+ years.
Yeah, well, once Samsung gets it, it'll be the latest and greatest innovation, won't it?
Oh, of course. There's a reason why we call it Samsung, by the way.
Yes, that's true. I don't think there's too much more to say on that, really.
No, I don't believe so. This is ugly. This is just like a huge comedy of errors. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I try and get Dave back on here. I will be back shortly.
You're right. There was another update in BlackBerry World today for the BB10 version of BBM. There's no great changelog in there other than it lists fixes or bug fixes and performance improvements. It's about a 32 megabyte download. I know a lot of people have been complaining about chats or group chats jumping all over the place and almost being impossible to scroll back and catch up on the chat. So hopefully they've fixed that in that latest update.
Yeah,
Have you managed to get that?
I did. I just downloaded it before the Blogcast started, so I've kind of been watching to see if there's any jumping, but even the jumping on my phone has been intermittent, so it's hard to really tell at this point if it's helped with any of that.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. I've been finding that my chat's been very intermittent as far as jumping, but when it jumps, it's almost impossible to read back and catch up on chat. But I have found that clearing the chat or ending the chat seems to fix it for a while. So hopefully that's something that they've looked at in the latest update.
We shall see. Either way, it's so nice to see that BlackBerry is supporting BBM on BB10 and continuing with their updates there.
Well, of course they are. BB10 is not going anywhere. I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say that. We've had people on our own channel just come rampaging in over the last few days to tell us once again that BB10 is dead and BlackBerry is dead and blah blah blah. And you know what? I've had it. I've had it to the point of where it's like we're banning. That's all there is to it, you know. And we're here for people to enjoy their BlackBerry phones. We're here for people to talk about them. We're here for people to give their worries and to get an answer and a response for it. We're not here for people to come in and push their anti-BlackBerry agenda. And there is a trick that you can use if you're a troll or a spammer. We know what the trick is. I'll tell you what the trick is. If you drop a comment and quit the channel admin can't ban you. So we have somebody that for some time, and he will take a break. I'm assuming he's a he. He's somebody that isn't using his real name. He's got a little, false name on it, and he comes in just to troll and just to push and just to say that, BlackBerry 10 is dead, and we can't ban him because he's doing that trick. We know exactly what he's doing. It's just going to be a case of being quick on the response one of these days. But he comes in, he insults, he does all this stuff. So I'm sorry for readers if you're on our channel and you see this person doing it. We're trying to get rid of him. We know exactly what he's doing and what his purpose is for being there. It's not something that we plan on allowing on our channel. He's just doing the troll trick, and that in itself should tell you enough of what he is.
And we do have several admins looking after the channel too, and comments like that are deleted pretty quick. We won't stand for that.
Right. So where were we, Dave? We talked about Samsung's hub. Welcome back.
No, we didn't.
Well, we did. You just weren't here for it.
That's it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Done and dusted. That's it. But while we're on the subject of BBM, channels, Dave, there was some info about updates to channels as far as stats. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I think it rolled out a couple days ago. I'm not sure. But you can go, it's not something that you have access to through the BBM app in channels on your handset, but it's something that you have access to on your BBM channels web portal. And if you go into your web portal and click on one of your channel posts, then now you can start to see stats, based on various, various terms of engagement kind of thing. So it's, countries, where people are engaging from, sort of the hit count from that, demographics like age groups, and Brad's crying because his demographic age group is higher than mine. And I just told him that's just because I'm more of an idiot than he is. But anyway, what else can you see? Just little things like that. You get
looking at that was
Go ahead.
was already there. I'm looking at that, and that was already there. I'm not seeing it for the individual posts. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, because all those demographics were already there.
Well, there's under every post. There's
not.
What?
Oh, that's what I'm missing. I'm trying to get into it right now.
Yeah.
Just ignore me. Carry on.
Yeah,
I'm just going to
underneath.
interrupt for a second, guys. I've got to
ahead.
get going. I've got to take the daughter to work, so sorry I
Alrighty.
couldn't stay on so long today. Enjoy the rest of the cast.
All right,
Alrighty.
take care, Wingo.
Have fun.
See you guys.
See you, Wayno.
I see what you're talking about, Dave.
Yeah, it's a little graph style button, and it pulls up, just location and demographic information about who's reading your post. And I think it goes into stuff like male and female. I can't remember now. I was looking at it a while back. And then rank of country and then hit count of age groups. That kind of thing. So it's cool. And I guess the reason I wanted to bring that up was because there's a lot of people that, not a lot of people or just a few vocal people, I don't know. Something has to be dead about BlackBerry every freaking day, or there's a group of individuals that aren't happy. So obviously somebody's paying attention with BBM channels, and therefore they're not dead. Thank you. People don't work
Yeah, I
on
mean,
dead
it's
things.
definitely not the updates. It's not the updates that people have been asking for and wanting for. I mean, with all the various things that they're asking for, like embedded videos is the one that I keep seeing. But it's still an update, and that should tell you something, that channels have not been abandoned as people keep saying they have been. There are limited resources at this point. There's no denying that. The resources are being spent in areas that will, make BlackBerry's future better, will make them the money they need to get back where they need to be.
Yeah.
So just because we wait a little bit longer for a feature, it doesn't mean that something's been abandoned. It doesn't mean that it's dead. Come on, people.
Yeah, I think some people tend to lose sight of the fact that it's a business like any other, and a business is, although they have divisions, is allowed to shift their focus onto various priorities. And whether a division is hard working at something or not, then if they're not going to push it out right now, then they're not going to push it out right now. It's just every business has priorities, so whatever.
I think it goes back to what we were saying a few weeks ago about how BlackBerry is almost like a niche market, more or less, than a real than a major player in the mobile world today, because they are focusing more on business and software and less on handsets and devices. And I think that the consumer just needs to realize that there needs to be a level of patience there before they'll see what they want to see, because BlackBerry has to get back to that point where they can spend those resources on those other areas that we're necessarily waiting for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like saying that it's a niche market. I prefer to say it's an elite market.
Yeah.
So there.
There you
Fine.
go.
You can argue the semantics.
It's an exclusive club, and we'll think about letting you in. You must answer me these questions 3.
Well, it goes back to it goes back to something that we've said since the beginning. If your focus of your phone is a communication function, nothing beats BlackBerry 10. If you want apps and you want a secure phone, nothing beats the Priv. If you don't care about your security and you just want the latest gimmicks on your phone and apps, then jump over to Samsung, jump over to iPhone, whatever it is you want. You know, fine, that's fine. But you are giving up the functionality of communications. You're giving up the functionality of security. Those are things that I'm not willing to give up. And I'm going back to our channel. We had somebody on our channel, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Sitting there complaining that, again, BlackBerry 10 is dead because it's not getting these updates like I believe he was pointing out Samsung and iPhone, and the updates that he was bringing up were things like new menus and colors and things of that nature. And he brought up hardware. He did bring up hardware, talking about the camera, and this was somebody that was on a Z10, and he's talking about there haven't been equivalent updates for the functions that he was speaking of. What he was concerned about was Facebook. It was social media apps. It was the camera. And he was saying that BlackBerry wasn't keeping up. And like one of the things that I thought was just such a huge argument against what he was saying was the fact that he's on a Z10 and still getting updates. The equivalent Samsung phone that came out at the same time as his Z10 is not getting updates anymore. It's not even getting the security updates any longer. So,
yeah, that's what I was going to say is never mind major OS updates. You're not even secure anymore.
Yeah, no updates are coming to the Samsung phone that was released the same time as the Z10. It's just not happening. But the fact of the matter is, for the functions that BB10 is great at, that we put it on a pedestal for, 3 years after BB10 came out, there's still nothing that competes with it. As far as efficiency, a proper workflow and communication and working your emails and actually getting your messages and responding to them immediately, like that, you know, I can use that article that we posted later this week about the guy that jumped off of BlackBerry and onto iPhone and is now much more relaxed because he's not communicating with people anymore.
Yeah, I found that rather ironic, hilarious.
Yeah. He no longer needed to communicate with people immediately, so he jumped to an iPhone. Yeah. Come on, think about it.
Kind of says it all.
Yeah. So I mean, where we stand on BlackBerry 10, on my Passport, it still beats anything else out there. And we're finally seeing Android come up to the challenge thanks to BlackBerry. Finally have an Android phone that I can communicate with thanks to BlackBerry.
Yeah. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
The joys. And speaking of apps, we got a new Facebook app called Facebook. And yes, I still want to pronounce it wrong.
There's one letter wrong in there, isn't there, Dave?
There's just one little letter that's wrong. And where is it? There it is, right there. Anyway, seems to be smooth, seems to work pretty nice. I think it's just a web wrapper. But whatever. It was made by Nemery Studios, so good for you, man. Keeping up the fight. And yeah, so I get why, like, some people have a problem with using apps that are named Facebook instead of Facebook. But if they work just fine, who cares? I mean, I don't care if it doesn't have the original sticker on it. Whatever, it works just fine. You know.
Perhaps the name is just one way to show that he's bucking the system.
Yes, very good. Yes, yes, very good. I like that. Yes.
Well, a couple of things about that app is that I saw one review on it where somebody was upset telling Nimmery or telling Oliver that it was bad business, that they had just bought Phase 10 and now he created a new app and now they're out of money and blah, blah, blah. This isn't replacing Phase 10. He's got another Phase 10 app update on the way. This is just another option. And like Dave said, it's like a web wrapper. But as opposed to what, you know, BlackBerry has done with basically a shortcut, he's actually made an app out of it. But it is still the website experience. And it's fast. You know, for everything that I'm hearing is it's really fast. There's the other, I believe it's F5 app, and I was looking at the reviews for that, and it seems an app that people really enjoy, but the big complaint was it's slow. There's certain parts where it's slow, and apparently Nimmery's app will solve that. I just think it's funny. There's now, what, 4 or 5 different options for people to use Facebook on BlackBerry 10. Different apps, different ways to do it, slightly different functionality. And again, I keep going back to our channel. It's like we had this big influx of angry people this week. Somebody was complaining that it's not a real app, it's a third-party app. Well, guess what? The original Facebook app was a third-party app. It wasn't built by Facebook. It was built by BlackBerry. What else can you say? You gave up one app that everybody complained about, that everybody seemed to hate, and the answer was, oh, just delete the app and use the browser. Now we've got 5 different ways to do it via app. Be happy. We've got it.
Yeah, and I, for one, am going to start calling it Facebook for the rest of my life, because I'm just going to make that my campaign. Whenever the subject comes up, I'm going to call it Facebook. And that should start some conversations.
Well, because that's something you can actually say in public as opposed to what you used to call it.
Yes. Yes, before we went live, yes. Or something. How wooed. Anyway, yeah. We got 5 apps and they got 1, so it's all good.
In the meantime, yeah. I wish we didn't. I really wish Phase 10, Phase 5, whatever. I would. How is that still a thing? You know, we know what all it does now. I don't understand. There's better options out there. That's not stealing every bit of privacy that we own. I can't stand that. I cannot stand Facebook. I just wish, and I'm not saying I want it off of BlackBerry 10. I don't. I want it there because people are using it. I just want Facebook to go away from everywhere.
I just don't like anybody that insists or is really obnoxious about making sure you add your phone number, because it's good for you and it's more secure. Well, no, it's not. Why should I give you my phone number, you jerk? I'm going to give you my phone number. What, are you going to call me or what? I don't think so. What a crock. I've seen, I can't remember who else it was, begging for phone numbers. Anyway, I remember.
Twitter.
Yes,
Twitter. It was Robert got stuck in Twitter jail, and they wanted his phone number to release him.
Mm-hmm. Pathetic. Not cool.
It's the newest security measure. Everybody asks for it because they want it to verify your ID whenever you lose your password, and that's what they use it for. Or at least that's what they say they use it for.
Don't care. They've got my email address, and that's all they need. They do not need your phone number. That is a crock. Don't give it to them. Don't give in. Or something. So what else we got? Anybody got a rant?
Haven't I done that a few times already?
Yeah, I think we've already been there.
Oh. Well, we can rant about. There must be some Apple thing we can rant about. Something like
I've
that.
got splinters in the sole of my feet from the soapbox I was climbing all over.
Well, it's interesting. Oh yeah. Oh no, we won't bring that up. No, that's a bad thing because you want to blog about that later. So why ruin it now?
Oh no, go ahead. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have tonight before I quite literally pass out. To be honest.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see. Apple just took an airplane and threw $1 billion out the window while they were flying over China. The DD headquarters, I think it's called DD or Didi, or I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but apparently it is the Chinese equivalent of Uber. And Apple just threw them $1 billion. And my immediate thought when I saw that the other morning in the news feed was, maybe there is something after all to the rumors of an Apple car. Like, put two and two together and, kind of makes one think, Otherwise, what the hell are they doing in there? Why would they do that? The market is kind of falling.
No, I have a very well thought out reason, and other people might think it's not too well thought out because it may not be. I may just be too tired and think that it's smart. But here's the thing.
Usually you're just thought out. But if this is well thought out, I can hardly wait. So carry on.
Tomorrow when I'm actually awake, I may think differently. But look, China was Apple's saving grace. That was where they made their last record-breaking sales, was having this huge China market, and that's what was promised, that this is going to just be huge for Apple. They're going to continue their growth. Well, it didn't happen. They bottomed out, double-digit decreases in sales. Tim Cook is struggling to find those sales again. In the meantime, they're giving reasons why. Apple's economy is China's economy isn't doing so hot. Chinese people aren't buying phones as much. Well, I don't think that's too true, because Chinese have wanted iPhones for a long time because there's a huge reputation that goes along with an iPhone, all built on this marketing. But at the same time, we all know that China can go out and buy a no-name equivalent phone with all the top specs that looks like any other phone on the market. They have no problem with pirating design in China. And there's all these other cell phone companies based in China that are huge, that can put out really cheap phones with really great specs, high-dollar phone that doesn't really do much. So I think the interest, once they got the iPhone, probably wasn't able to be maintained. And then you add to that China has come in and they've shut down their music store, they've shut down their movie store. They're basically limiting Apple as it is. That's going to cause even more trouble for Apple to sell phones there. So Tim Cook hopped in a plane, flew over to China, met with people there, and looking at the people that he was meeting with the Communist leading party. He was meeting with the people that are in charge of the propaganda there. And I mean, that's fine. He was doing what he needed to try and protect his business in China. Now they turn around after his visit and they dropped $2 billion into a Chinese company. It could be, I mean, right now it is this company that is the Chinese equivalent of Uber. It could have been a Chinese version of McDonald's for all that matters. They just dumped $2 billion in the Chinese economy. That's what they've done. And I guarantee you the reason for that is to try and get China to allow their music store, to allow their movie store, so that they could have a product that they think is competitive and be sold in this market that's supposed to save them.
Yeah, you know what? I hear your tinfoil hat reasoning loud and clear, and I could subscribe to most of it. But I think the flaw in it is, or at least the flaw in Tim Cook's thinking, is that he can change the minds of a communist country. Because they didn't shut down iTunes for probably any other reason than its actual content. You know, they don't want people listening to you know, rappers say particular things. They don't want people to be watching movies with particular subject matter. And so because they can't streamline the content to what they do find acceptable, they have to turn it all off. So I don't give a rat's ass how many dollars you throw at people. They're not going to change their fundamental communist beliefs. They're just not going to do it. So I don't know why they gave him that money, because to me it's a fool's errand. You can't change it. You can't change it with money, I don't think. Or at least I'd be shocked that, oh, you know, here's $1 billion. Okay, I'll flip the switch back on. Thanks, man. I don't think so. So I don't know. Good thought, though. I don't know. I can't see them turning it on, and it makes it worse, considering Tim Cook's unstated love for the way John Chen works in growing services, right? Growing services for your business instead of hardware. Not instead of, but you know, putting that first. And there you go. His biggest service is turned off in the most populous country on planet Earth, or is that India? I can't remember. But anyway, if it's not number one, it's number two.
Yeah, that's actually India.
Yeah.
Which, when the Chinese market bottomed out for Apple, they started talking about India as their next big market.
Right. I think India's gone past that idea. They see what's going on, but that's another subject. I don't know, Brad. You could be right, but I just don't think that those guys are sold with $1 billion. That's just me.
That $2 billion would have been really nice, you know, to turn in tax dollars in California. It would have really helped us out here.
I know.
Since, you know, Apple is based here
in Ireland, yeah, where you live, yeah. Cupertino, that's in Ireland, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They Lucky Charms every morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Follow the rainbow. So, anyway, was that going to be my Apple rant? I forget. Oh, well, that, and it's interesting to see the share price. I mean, let's face it, BlackBerry's share price isn't going the opposite direction in any hurry. But it's really interesting, and I hate to say it, sort of, but I sort of hate to say this, but it's a good humiliating, or it makes them humble. You know what I mean? To have the share price get to some place. I mean, it's not even anywhere near where it ought to be as far as I'm concerned yet. But the inflammatory or inflation-based days, with any kind of luck, are kind of over, and you kind of like to see something more reality-based. I mean, yeah, maybe when pigs fly. I mean, we're talking about the stock market, and we're talking about Apple. It's good to see some humility anyway.
Well, I'm thinking back to that interview that John Chen did on, I believe it was CNBC, where he was very straightforward, as always, saying that, Apple's troubles had nothing to do with BlackBerry. BlackBerry wasn't picking up customers from those leaving Apple, and he was being honest about it. But I think there's been one extremely magical thing that's come out of this, is that BlackBerry is no longer the whipping boy in a lot of the media where it used to be. Now Apple is, who was the golden child. Apple is taking a lot of abuse on these sites that used to, promote and push and push and push them. And I fully believe that all that promotion is what got Apple to the place that it's in. And, these sites keep pushing because, it's the fair weather fan thing. They want to be on the winning side. Apple's not winning right now. They turn on them. And what I've seen happening is a lot of these sites that would never give BlackBerry the time of day, but they would promote Apple, are now turning on Apple and are actually giving BlackBerry a chance. I've seen a lot of posts about BlackBerry where they're not talking about them being, an endangered species any longer.
What, they're not beleaguered anymore? Wait a minute, let me write about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're seeing posts that's talking about how John Chen is actually turning the company around, and I wish I could think right now so I could bring up some of the quotes that I've seen. But, the magical thing of the problem with Apple is that I do think it's helping BlackBerry. Maybe not in sales right now, but definitely in the attitude from a lot of the media that has been so anti-BlackBerry for the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. It's an equal opposite thing, like you said. The golden boy Apple. It's easy to go rah and root for that. and while you're doing it, you can hit that dead horse of beating on BlackBerry while you're at it, right? And there's your fun toy every day as a journalist. And now, while even Jim Cramer can't even support his Apple fanboydom anymore, even though it's desperately, horridly obvious that he's trying. Some of the more sane-thinking people out there are going, you know what? It has lost its shine. Now what are we going to talk about? Now what are we going to do? Oh yeah, well let's look over here, And by default, like you say, at least people get to see more of the reality of the situation. That curtain's been pulled back in The Wizard of Oz. You're at the end of the movie and you get to see who's behind the curtain there, and then we're starting to get to the reality of the situation. I don't think we're anywhere near it, again, from a stock price perspective, but at least some real talk is happening about supply chains, stuff like that, stuff that never would have been discussed before. People would have brushed it under the carpet, and only people like us would have said something about it and been ignored. But now everybody's talking about the grief and Apple Watch sales sucking and things like that.
I'm just waiting for the journalists to show up at the iPhone 7 release, taking pictures of it with their priv. Then I'll be happy. We lost Dave. We picked up a Wayno and we lost Dave.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh my goodness. What a day.
Fun and games today, mate. Fun and games.
Yeah. So, Wayno, while you were gone, we spoke about Apple. Was that pretty much it, Erica?
I'm blaming that on Wayno.
Yeah, it was
He
more
joined
It
in that,
is.
and that kicked me off. So thanks a lot,
I
Wayno.
tried to tune into it while I was gone, but for some reason it's not up on the side. It's still showing the first part of the episode that got cut. So
Yeah,
Are you
it's funny
serious?
when
It should have both parts there.
I did only see one. I'll just try and refresh the page, but I tried to get it on the passport while I was out, so I could keep up with what you guys were talking about. But at the moment, I'm only seeing the
We
first one.
have
I think.
viewers.
Yep, they're both up there.
We
In the
have
same
viewers, so
zone.
somebody found it. I can't even defend what's happened this episode.
no, no.
It's Friday the 13th.
Just
That's what happened.
comedy
in this
of errors.
episode.
Erica saves the day. It's
Oh
Friday
my God,
the
it
13th.
is.
I
It's
forgot all
Friday
about
the
that.
13th. It all makes sense.
Well, it
Yeah.
is for you guys. It's Saturday the 14th here in the future.
Yeah. Okay,
I
fine.
should have had my Jason behind us.
Yeah, never mind Marty over there in Australia. Just forget about that. But it's Friday the 13th here, and that's obviously what the problem is. It wasn't me buggering up and leaving my mouse at work and having to use the touchpad on my laptop. No, that's not what knocked me off this last time. No, for sure that's not it.
Nope. It's all the superstition.
It's superstition, not buffoonery. Thank you. So,
Well, is there anything else?
no, I have to fix my stairs tomorrow. Yeah.
I think there was a bunch of
Your
BlackBerry apps.
stairs?
Was that at the start of the week that were updated for the Priv, or was that late last week?
I'm not entirely sure, but that's part of it too. The beta program on the Priv is going to start including beta apps, the BlackBerry apps when they have updates coming. That's smart. I like that. So it's not just going to be a beta group for the OS. It will also be a beta group for the BlackBerry apps.
Yay!
Yeah, I think that was to try and get some better feedback before they actually release them. So they're trying to sort out as much or whatever bugs before they do release them. So they're trying to get the OS or the apps pretty close to spot on before they're actually released and people having issues with them. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Do you think so? Because, I mean, I haven't had any... Wow. That was impressive.
That went right into this ear, and I had to get it out.
Well, I haven't seen any issues with the Priv apps on BlackBerry. I'm wondering if it's not more to generate excitement. I mean, we see what happens with the beta zone with apps, with the BlackBerry 10 apps that developers put into the beta zone. I don't think it's truly to test a lot of times. I think it's more to build excitement. And I haven't really seen any issues with any of the updated apps on the Priv yet. I can't imagine them needing to have beta testing when they haven't so far, and everything's ran right for me.
Yeah, well,
I did
Maybe
read
not.
somewhere, it wasn't on the... Sorry. The delay's a pain in the bum.
Go ahead, Wayno.
I did read somewhere, it wasn't on BlackBerry, it was somewhere else, that there may be a rumour of a BlackBerry file manager. So that'll be interesting to see, and it's something I'd definitely look forward to getting.
well,
As would a
yeah.
lot of people, I'd imagine.
I'd love to have that. That's a horrifying rumor. I hope. I don't even want to support the rumor because if it doesn't come true, people will crap all over me. So whatever.
Yeah, well,
It happens. I'm in
I'll
love
take
with
the
it.
blame for that one, eh?
Yeah, way to go, Wayno.
Take one for the team.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding as someone that's not on the beta, that there's a placeholder there for a BlackBerry file manager within Marshmallow somewhere. There's a placeholder name that says BlackBerry File Manager. It's not attached to anything.
I haven't seen that, but I haven't looked for it either. I know that there's a default file manager in, I hate calling it Marshmallow, in 6. But it's a Marshmallow
It's pretty hard
thing.
to find, but
Yeah, it's a super basic hunk of junk that is sort of a waste of time, but it's there. So that's not it. I haven't seen any reference to an actual BlackBerry file manager, but then I haven't been looking for it. So
again, it was just a rumour, but it'd be great to have that functionality that we do have with the BlackBerry 10 file manager. You know, with your cloud storage built in, remote desktop access, all that sort of thing would be fantastic.
yeah, I could.
Just the ease. That's one thing I noticed going across to Android was a lot of the file managers are very confusing, where they call sometimes the internal storage is referred to as SD card, and that sort of stumped me for a while when I was trying to move files about. Where I thought I was moving it to the SD card wasn't actually the SD card. It was the internal memory that was referred to as SD card, and the SD card was actually referred to as SD card 1. So yeah, that took a bit of getting used to. It's not as simplified as being device or SD card, you know, like on BlackBerry 10, where everything's just so simple.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody would use those naming conventions at all. It just makes no sense, but I get what you're laying down there.
Don't call it simple. It's efficient.
Well, it's simple but efficient, isn't it?
What's that?
It's simple to understand. It's easy to understand. It's simple in that regard. It's very straightforward. There's nothing complicated about it.
And you know what? It just works.
It just works. That's right.
Yeah. Friday the 13th.
And I'm so glad Erica told us that. It explains so much of what's happened to us today.
Yeah, never mind here.
I would just like to apologize to any viewers and anybody that watches or listens to this at a later date. And we'll blame it all on Dave.
God, again? Why me again? This is Blogcast 45.5.
Yeah.
He's such an easy scapegoat, isn't he?
Release 2 or something. Only because you're too far away for me to hit you. So go ahead. I don't care. Guys are mean. That's it.
We love you, Dave.
I know you do. I love you too, man.
Sounds like people are drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Not me, for a change.
All right.
I've been a good boy today.
Good boy, Wayno. Good boy.
Woof.
I think it's time to call it. Friday the 13th has kicked UTB's ass, and we should.
Well and truly.
And it's red.
What the heck happened to my camera?
I don't know. It's Friday the 13th.
I'm back. I'm back. Welcome back to UTB Blogs. Let's call it, guys.
Part 3.
And Erica.
Yeah, let's all
have a good
down
night.
from 13. Okay. See you guys.
See you,
It'll
mate.
work better next time,
See ya.
I'm sure.
I promise.